Hello! Welcome back to the Starlight Observatory. My name is Trip Starlight, and I am greeting you with the last for now, Star Slug Manhwa stream.
Bum, 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 bum.
Da-da-da-da. Yeah, and we're going to talk about the last third of solo leveling. And I am here today with Realm
Hello, hello, hello.
and Toto, who has no
Woo!
voice. But
We are rocking with it. Hello, everybody. My name's Realm, Professor and Guide to the Stars, fellow manhwa lover and enjoyer. So happy to be here.
yeah. Yeah, and I had everything planned out on how to read. Like I usually plan out my reading, like I'll read this many chapters this day, this many chapters that day. That didn't happen. So I read the last 10 chapters today, but it's all right. At least it's fresh in my mind.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so we're good to go. Gosh, but yeah, so it was every time. I don't know what it is. I think because the arcs in this like manhwa are so tiny, I kept thinking that I was starting at a different chapter than I was, and it was weird. But anyway, it's all good. It worked out in the end.
I know. Honestly, I think if not for the book club, I would just tell you, hey, let's just read part 1 and then go ahead and read part 2 because because half of it's distributing periods, half of it's pacing of the authors, but there's like season 1, there's an occasional hiatus, and then there's season 2, and then if it continues on, then that's what they have.
Yeah, you're right.
Go for a long time.
Yeah. Oh gosh, yeah. So I don't know. A lot has happened, but I think the last like part that we read was where Ajin Guild is formed, and there's like orcs at the high school, and Jinwoo saves his sister.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It showed more of the Sun Drip Woo, the prowess of the man himself.
Yes. Yeah.
So, to my knowledge, it
go
just
ahead.
goes swiftly in. Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine.
Half looking up the arcs.
Yeah, the next one is like Jinwoo like doesn't understand. He's like, what is the source of my powers? And he really wants to find out. And then he like, cause he has like that key that he's like, there's like a countdown to where he can like figure out where it is. And then he realizes he knows, I guess, that's a double dungeon in there. So he like goes in there.
Yes.
Yeah. And he's
it is a double dungeon arc.
Yeah. Oh, is that what it's called?
And a very original. It's like even above me, just 4D chest. Oh my god.
That's great. Double dungeon ice cream. What?
Double dungeon ice cream. Yes, this is the Ajin Sunday.
Yeah. Oh, the Ajin Sunday. Yeah. Yeah. It's oh god. So he goes into the double dungeon, and he like is met with like the same, I don't know, dungeon that was at the beginning of the series. And he fights all of them and then meets the architect.
So let me ask you this before you talk about the fight itself.
Oh yeah.
Were you I mean, it's not like the first time he's questioned what's going on, because you know where he came from. So he's very curious about like what role did he play, like who's pulling all these strings and stuff. Were you expecting like answers? Were you like actually like happy that like some answers were gonna be or attempted to be answered?
I mean, yeah, I figured he would get something. I didn't think he'd get everything because there were still like 40 chapters left, but
Say it ain't so.
Right, so I was like, he'll get something, right? And he does. He gets some answers. Like that he's, oh god, you'll probably have to like, you can probably articulate it better than I can. Like the architect doesn't want to give the answers away, but is forced to, and he fights the architect, and then he starts like transforming, kinda, when all the S rank hunters enter into the dungeon as well, and they're like, what's going on? Yeah.
Indeed. So the type of character, so he proclaims himself to be the architect, which later you figure out in like this dream sequence that Sun Jinwoo happens. to go upon is he's part of the Legion that fights. That there's like this big fight between two sides that you see in the dream.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So I don't know if it says it specifically in this arc itself, but it's gonna come up anyway. So there were these beings called kings and monarchs, and I guess in some other world, they have been fighting eternally for just for power over. I don't know, power over the universe or some governing body. And this guy was tasked with creating this system that allows Earth to inhabit and take advantage of all the magic that's coming in. So he gave everybody the possibility of becoming a hunter.
Yes.
And in this specific case, he was the person, or rather the entity, who gave Sun Jinwoo the ability to level up himself. So he's technically the god of the system itself, but he's not like the person. He's just a pawn in, other people's party.
Yes, you said that so much better than I would have been able to.
Yeah, it's like half coming in my head, half everything gets, shot in here and there, and I'm just like, do they say it then? Do they say it later? Because you're right, there's so many little
there's little bits and pieces, and also I don't know if anybody had. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, because monarch and ruler is like a synonym. I was so confused the whole time. I was like, which one are they talking about?
Yes. You're absolutely right. To my knowledge, I think the reason they were differentiated was because the monarchs were so the rulers were the initial rulers of the system that was governed. And the monarchs are self-proclaimed utilitarian-esque beings who say, now we could be the rulers of this world.
Oh yeah.
So that's I think that's where it came from.
Yeah. No, I do think that's why. It's like they both wanted to have it be both a ruling term, but they made them slightly different. I get it. It's just harder to separate than if they were called I don't know, angels and demons or something,
Yes, that's true, because they do, and it actually kind of popped up. I had to switch between a couple of translation sites.
Yeah.
While reading, and the vernacular changed.
Oh.
They had mentioned why are you here, and then they said, why are the demons here?
Oh, they did.
And,
I didn't.
So sometimes they even mentioned the demons, which we knew the demons had some plot, and you're just like, well, if they said you and they said demons, do you mean the demons, or do you mean these people? And if you mean these people, then what are the demons actually doing? You know what I mean? It made everything a little more secular.
It was confusing.
Yes, 100%.
Hi, Toto. I mean, you've always been here.
I was about to say, you're literally right here. I can see you.
You can see Toto right here next to me. She always is.
You're making me doubt myself. Come on.
Yep.
Ooh, Ethan.
But your explanation makes sense. But knowing that other people, other translators, realized that would be confusing, makes me feel better.
Indeed. So it was crazy. It's crazy to see how much more powerful those the architect and those other statues were, because in the first couple chapters you're like, wow, these things are impossibly strong, and then to the S rank hunters now, they're still at least a league or two above them.
Right.
So you're just like, damn.
Yeah, that's true. And then Sung Jinwoo is transforming, and he's he learns everything that happened, basically, what you just described. Yeah, and then the architect is gonna kill Chahain, I think, and he's like, no, don't kill my friends today. In that his cool manner, and then he kills the architect instead.
Yes. So part of the dream that Jinwoo was able to take over the shadowy knight that was in the dream itself. And because their powers, you can see their powers are so similar that he believes it came from this guy, and as a result of the whole like synchronization itself, Jinwoo became the vessel to the powers that he got from the previous person. So he got like an extra heart, gave him like infinite amount of mana.
Yeah, now
Not
he has
infinite,
two
but, like,
hearts.
He has 2 hearts and over like 100,000 MP, and very jealous,
Yeah.
stuff like that. But part of that all being power, he used it to take over the system from the architect, kicked him out of his own little system, that gave him other powers to kill him.
Yeah,
destroying the whole system.
Yeah. Toto wasn't scared of the architect. She was like, Sung Jinwoo is either gonna beat him or befriend him. Yeah. Didn't he already basically have infinite mana? I mean, he did have a limit, but it was a lot. It was like...
Yes, he had like...
Yeah.
I'm trying to... I feel like the number like almost 50,000 pops in my head. But like in Demon Arc,
it doesn't mean anything though.
I know. It really doesn't, because he really didn't need to worry about it, except for a couple of occasions where he had to like pop mana potions. But now the concept of potions is just like at the door.
Yeah.
Except for everybody else who needs potions. And he's just like, oh yeah, I got them. Here you go. So that was a quick end to the Double Dungeon arc.
Yeah, it's only a few chapters. Because like while that's happening, like the Japan Crisis arc was happening all throughout this Double Dungeon arc, actually. Yeah. Oh, you talked about Link. Oh gosh. So yeah, there's like a giant gate over like, I don't remember what city in Japan. Oh, in Tokyo. It says Tokyo. Over Tokyo. And the S-Rank squad that they like they get in, like they like hire a guy, like is he American? Is he European?
He's a Russian.
You're right, his name is Yuri. Of course he is Russian.
Yes. He is the world's best defensive S-Rank hunter.
Yeah, and he's like, I can do this by myself. Just give me all your crystals.
Give me all your money.
Yeah, but then these like giants come through the gate and just like own everyone that's in that particular fight. And it's a problem, and everyone's worried. And the entire time, Gene was like, nah. Nah, like the same thing he did with the Jeju Island thing. He's like, nah,
yeah,
I don't want to do it.
Said I shouldn't go, so I probably shouldn't. I should like take a break
I shouldn't do it for her. And he does it anyway. But
you need a little persuasion.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that he like decided to go. Like he decided to, I guess because Jinho wanted to go, he decided to travel the proper way, like go on an airplane. And make it more of like a publicity event type thing. Yeah.
Yes. So he also, did you enjoy the karma retribution that the Japanese guild guy got for all this schemery?
Oh, in the end, yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, because he really wasn't. And then like the pretty lady S-ranker lady does, like, she shows up and does things, but she's just like sad the whole time. I feel like all of them were, because like most of their friends were killed, and they're like, well, now I have to deal with this other crisis. This sucks.
Yeah, this is Toto, did you notice that your favorite hot lady from the Juju arc?
Yeah.
The Juju arc came back?
Yeah, for some reason her hair was in like twin tails, which is fine. It's just different.
I mean, I was just looking at the abs the entire time. So
okay, that's fair.
I am A-okay with that.
Yes, how could I not? Says Toto.
See, I told you. It took too long, honestly.
Yeah, I was happy she was there, at least.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, it was tough, but it was nice to know that the entirety of Japan's S-rank hunters were not gone. And then it talked about other countries' rankers too, which was kind of cool. didn't think they would talk about it. It just felt so, you know, Asian driven.
Yeah, there were a lot
hunters and stuff. And then you only got like you only heard of Thomas Andre, but then you heard, oh, what's the other power that came over to America? Oh yes, South Korean S-rank hunter.
Mm-hmm.
And then like nobody else. So that was cool. What do you think of the big battle?
I mean, it was all right. I think the interesting part, like, I feel like every time, maybe except at the very end, every time Jinwoo fights, it's just over very quickly. But I think because he actually had a conversation with the giant king guy, and he was like he was like, I'll be part of your team if I'll negotiate with you, and Jinwoo was like, no, you're lying. And then, but they talk, and he talks about he reveals like how like the system works, or not the system, but how the demon world works, and like a bit more of the history and the rulers.
Yes, he was one of the first entities who could freely talk about the
yeah, that he could freely talk about it. That was more interesting to me. But then he just like kills him, and he's chained down, so I was like, he's probably just gonna go real fast, and he does.
Yes. So he was the giants were actually just remnants that were captured by the monarchs or the rulers, I forgot which one, but he was actually an original monarch himself. He was just tied down in that area. I forgot. I think it was called like the Monarch of Beginning.
Yeah, it was something like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He actually, there you go. He was Legia was the king of giants and the monarch of the beginning. Interesting.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so it was you got more. You're slowly climbing back. You're slowly getting more of that context that we like read so long for.
Right.
This was pretty cool. And then he's just like, I thought he was gonna come to Sun Jinwoo's side. I know he was like begging and pleading. It's like almost too good to be true, but I like that he looked over to the gem on the back of his neck and was just like, well, you still want to kill humans.
Yeah.
How do you know you're not gonna, disrupt the way I want to live? And then they just went at it.
Yeah, then they just go at it. Yeah. Yeah. Toto says, I did like that there was more world building. That kind of stuff was way more interesting. I love lore and backstories and stuff. Yeah, I appreciated that too. It was nice to finally talk to somebody that could explain something. Yeah, but overall, I guess this is how I feel about the entire series, though. The fights are visually cool, but they're over so fast, and they don't hold a ton of weight, because it's just like, obviously Jinwoo's gonna win. So I don't know. But yeah.
I know, isn't it crazy that like that we say it in itself is just not the craziest thing that's happened in the story because of one person, and yet we're talking about like an entire battle taking place in Tokyo.
Yeah.
Like destroying Tokyo. Isn't that crazy?
I guess so. It is crazy. I liked that I did appreciate that the fight, they were actually like kaijus in Tokyo. It was funny. But yeah.
Now I want to watch Pacific Rim.
Yeah. Yeah.
So a little blotchy on how that arc ends.
I will tell you, because that's the part that made me angry. Hold on.
Oh, please, yes.
Toto says, I wish we had discovered bits more slowly instead of just plot dump. Destroying Tokyo happens like every Godzilla movie, though. I know. That's why I was like kind of entertained. I don't know. But yeah, I do agree with that. I kind of wish that there had been like droplets of lore. Like maybe when Jinwoo was talking to like the cute demon girl, he would have gotten like a bit more information or something like that, and different parts along the way. But I'm glad that we're finally getting it.
Yes.
Yeah, just nuggets. Nuggets of lore.
You said you were particularly angry around the one.
Yes. Okay, so before he goes, okay, here's the part that makes me mad, and I feel like a lot of people just don't care about this, but it makes me mad. Or they probably, I don't know, I actually have no idea what anybody thinks. And maybe I'm remembering things wrong, so if you can correct me if I'm just angry for no reason. So before Jinwoo goes to Japan, he is approached by Jinho's father, and he's like, your mom's the only person that's been able to recover from the sleepy disease. And I'm sure that you were the person that like helped her recover. Is there any way you can help me too? And he's like, I could help him. It would save my like best friend forever a lot of pain, but nah. And so he leaves. And then in the end, and then I was like, because he made it seem like he had to make a big decision. Like it was like, well, I could like save him or save this thing and use it in this battle where I didn't even need it. I don't know. It was weird to me. And then in the end, he's like, here you go, bro. No big deal, peace. And then like he like, but he doesn't do it till after Jinho finds out that his dad has like fallen into a coma, making his best friend have horrible trauma now because his dad fell into a coma and thought he was gonna die, and then it was like a huge emotional reversal because he was immediately fine. But what the heck, Jinwoo? Don't do that to your friends.
I can. It's totally valid. He did have a reason. But
it wasn't a very good reason.
I did not like that it was immediately remedied.
Yeah, like
how long did we wait for like Sun Jinwoo's mom to be okay? And this dude literally took the equivalent of like a nap in eternal slumber and then got woken up by Sun Jinwoo.
Yeah, there was no weight to it.
He's thinking more,
Yeah, because it really could have been like a long drawn out emotional thing, like, oh, I chose not to do that, and now my friend is under so much emotional turmoil. But he's like, nah, I got you, and then just like fixed it. It's like, come on,
I got you, homie, and then just slaps it on like a band-aid. I think that might be one of the pacing issues the manhwa had. I cannot verify that for sure because I didn't read the light novel. But I'm curious if anybody if that had been illustrated figuratively, better. He did have a reason, like I said. He knew for sprinkled in throughout the whole story, he knew for a fact that his father was like a very stingent, like a businessman, did not really have a lot of expectations for his son, and like for most of the family too. So he just knew his father as somebody in society who could take advantage of people if he really wanted to, for somebody as powerful and successful he was. So I think he gave off, especially with the whole deal with saying like, hey, name your price, I'm willing to buy anything, just like help me. He kind of sees him as a morally ambiguous character.
Yeah.
I guess he didn't have the okay, especially because he kind of like had to deal with the shit with his friend going through that stuff. So I guess that whole thing was like, oh, I guess you're okay now because oh, he collected the scrapbook of everything all his kids did. Oh, look at him, he's actually a really good guy. All right, you're good.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yes,
I don't know.
The pacing definitely threw it off. I felt like it could have used.
Yeah,
it was in between a lot of action, so it's very hard to say when. But it could have used more. It could have used more give.
Yeah, it could have been more. And I think I guess it could have been a really good plot point, but then they chose not to do it. Make it like a real moral quandary, like Toto said in chat. Yeah, but then Jinwoo didn't want to be the bad guy and was like, never mind. That's exactly what it was.
Okay. If you say so. Okay.
And Toto's a very doylist reader and you're a Watsonian. It's a good contrast in our views. Yeah, because doylist is like, do you mean like from a real world perspective? Like you think like realistically?
Please explain. I need explanation.
Yeah, and I think Watsonian is more internal to the... Yeah, doylist is like you think of the IRL author reasons. Oh, right. You think of the reasons why the author did something. Yeah. Rather than... Yeah, and Watsonian is you think of the in-world universe responses. Yeah.
Okay. Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
Very cool. Toto, what type of reader do you think you are?
She thinks she's a doylist reader.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yeah, that's what she said.
I'm blanking out. Wait.
Yeah, no, I definitely think so, though, because even with other things that we've talked about, she always brings in, like, well, maybe the author meant this or that, so yeah, I get it. Like, even with One Piece.
Yes, the One Piece is real.
One Piece is real, yeah. But yeah, that was the only part I got really mad at Jinwoo. I was like, why didn't you just... Oh my god. Jinwoo, stop being tsundere and help out your friends. I know you're actually in love with Jinho and don't care about Chahain. Stop lying to me.
You know, I saw a video the other night of like very intricately placed music, like in one of the early Harry Potter movies. It was like a wizard running up to like Dumbledore, but it was like the Rocky theme music.
Oh yeah.
So it was like really weird paced, but like interesting music, and there was a very romantic song in a interaction between two like male characters in Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah.
And I was just like, I'm wondering if people think the same thing with
what do you mean Lord of the Rings is
Jinwoo.
Really gay? What are you talking about?
I haven't watched it since I was like 7,
That's okay.
So it's been a long time.
Man,
but
you were allowed to watch it when you were 7? You're lucky. My mom
my parents own a video store. We had literally every movie.
Yeah.
Everyone we can smuggle anyway.
Yeah.
Yes, but I was wondering if that's the same thing. I'm like, I have a feeling people already think about that.
No, I think for me, it's like when he is saying like Chahain is my friend or whatever at one point, he was thinking about like everyone that's important to him, and like Jinho shows up, but he doesn't think that's my friend. He's like thinking of like I have family and stuff, and he shows up there, and then Chahain shows up and he's like, and my friends. So Jinho is a level above friendship.
Alright, author, please explain. Please.
I'm joking.
Good.
Yeah. Oh, when Frodo wakes up his bed and is surrounded by glowing, beautiful men in slow motion who hug him. Yes, you're right. Jinwoo would be a toxic boyfriend. He wouldn't express anything.
He would show like bits and pieces of expressions, and then like that's the 2 seconds you see the glow up of like the other person being like literally glow in the air, mystifying. Oh, like falls in love for like the next time. Like then you wait for like the next 10 years while he's still expressionless. That's him.
Jinwoo would be a body pillow. A body pillow you could throw at an enemy and they would perish.
Arise and perish.
Okay, though. I'm sorry for complaining. We can talk about the plot.
No. I was very curious as to why. I had a feeling it related to the father.
Yeah.
So I was curious as to why. So.
Oh yeah, I just had no weight. Yeah, and that's what made me mad. I was like, Jinwoo, if you're gonna make a big deal out of it, you can't just be like, I didn't mean it. Gosh, you're a protagonist in a manhwa. I don't know, but whatever. I guess that's more me complaining about the pacing than himself.
All right, so.
Yeah.
With that, after that whole biz, he saves. It's again fuzzy how they connected to it's the guild conference.
Yeah, so the guild conference happens. He gets asked to go as a representative of Korea, even though they're like the Ajin Guild is new. They still want Sung Jinwoo because it's Sung Jinwoo, and so they just meet at the International Guild Conference. And they go to America, there's a lot of people, and Thomas Andre is like, yo, you character whose brother was killed 1,000,000 years ago in the manhwa, you better not touch Sung Jinwoo. And he's like, I won't. And then And then,
What?
but yeah. Meanwhile, there's also like one of the big American S rank hunters doesn't show up at the conference because he's actually been killed by the
Yes.
monarchs.
He is Christopher Reed.
Okay,
Very
yeah.
original name. He was actually a level above that. He's on the same level as Thomas Andre. He's a national level hunter.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So that's even bigger stuff, which they'll tell you a little later on in the arc that, like, you know, well, essentially, as it says in the name, like, these characters have the strength of to carry like an entire nation if they had to be like their own entity.
Yeah,
so
that's what it meant.
Very sought after.
Yeah, rip Chris Reed, yeah. He like had no time, but rip him anyway.
I know. I forgot I think he had some cool like power that they were talking about, but obviously you don't really get to really see much because
yeah,
dead Dederson.
Yeah, so that's going on, and then the International Guild Conference is actually about talking about how there's like a dude out there and he is super scary and we think he's related to one of our S rank hunters. Our national ranked hunters, shrug. And they reveal that they think it's Sung Jinwoo's dad, and he's like, "What? It can't be my dad." And then he's like, "Wait, it is my dad." After they like give him convincing evidence.
Oh right, because the U.S. mentioned to him that that it looked like it was gonna be his dad as a suspect in the killing, and that they're going to announce it at the conference. So they're like, "Yo, call him to the conference."
Yeah.
The
results are in. It's your father. He is the father. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Backflip on stage right now.
That's true. I think. Well, actually, this happens after the whole. I don't know the dude's name that is mean. The guy that was told not to attack Sung Jinwoo, he kidnaps Jinho. Just starts beating him up, trying to get Sung Jinwoo to like come to him to fight. I think, right?
Yes.
But that doesn't go very well because
no. So yeah, he just wanted to like kidnap him and get information out of him, see if Sung Jinwoo actually killed his brother. But being the big stinky over there, not wanting to do anything by his, only want to do anything by his own rules, he would just like beat the crap out of.
I just wanted to, Hwang Dong-soo, that's his name, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, so it ended up backfiring. Sung Jinwoo went for in between that whole biz, while that was happening, Jinwoo went to a top secret base held by the U.S. government, because they're like, oh, we really want to form good, have amicable relations with you. Would you, you could really have anything you'd like, just like take a look at this information. And they found the corpse of a dragon, a very famous dragon, that was one of the biggest S-rank gates to come out. In whatever the U.S.'s history.
Oh yeah, you're right.
It turns out Sung Jinwoo was like, I want it. I want him as my soldier. So he tries to reanimate him as a shadow, but it turns out this dragon was the subordinate of the monarch of dragons. I forgot if it was the ruler of dragons. I mean, it's a big deal if it's which one, but I'm pretty sure, to my knowledge, it's like the monarch of dragons, like the ruler of them.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yes. Oh yeah. Monarch of Destruction, King of Dragons. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Sort of told him more history about what's going on in the upcoming field, but essentially there is between the King of Giants that we talked to and this dragon, there is a lot of scrutiny between the two parties, and that you should prepare for like an all-out war
Right.
for the planet, because like one side's trying to like protect the Earth from becoming a battlefield. One side's trying to make the Earth into an entire battlefield using magic, using the same thing to like manifest different results.
Mm-hmm.
So he was not able to keep the dragon, but
yeah, and he was really sad about that.
I know. I felt I was a little sad. He was actually like a very eloquent dragon.
Eloquent dragon.
It's gone too soon.
He was sad, okay? Yeah. Oh, I think one thing that bothers me in the series is that everything in the series revolves around Jinwoo. Like, nothing happens until he does something. Like, rest of the world is on pause, says Toto Hex. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I mean, I think that's just... To me, I expect that with a lot of these power leveling type stories. So I guess I just kind of was like, yep, that's how it works. I didn't think about it too hard, but yeah, you're right. Yeah. But yeah, he fights after... You mentioned the dragon, which was good because I totally forgot about that. But that's definitely a thing that happens before he realizes that Jinho got kidnapped. He also... Oh yeah, so he ends up fighting Andre instead of Hwang, because Hwang gets beat up anyway, but... and they have... Yeah. They have a big battle. He is... I mean, Andre actually is more of like a challenge than I think a lot of the other things that he's faced. That Jinwoo has faced. But Jinwoo still beats him and breaks like every bone in his body is what they say.
Did you like that? Yes, you said there's every single bone in his body is broken.
Yeah, like he should already be dead, but he wasn't, and then he is saved, and Andre's like, I lost. And then, I mean, during the conference or whatever, when he's slightly more recovered, he's like, impressed that Jinwoo didn't just kill all of his army, and he didn't kill Andre either. So he wants to like pay him back with like dinner and a gift. And he ends up giving him like a dagger later on, but we can talk about I guess the dagger later in like the next arc. But yeah,
a couple of little points that came out too. So everybody in the conference essentially knows now that it is Sung Joon-woo's father, but they asked him, like, I mean, they're kind of provoking him, especially the Chinese hunter, which gets talked about a few times. There's a very strong Chinese hunter that you know, just kind of stretches stuff as you normally do for a big baddie. They give him the dilemma of, well, if it's your dad, what are you gonna do about it? Like, if he's a threat to humanity, what are you gonna do? And he's just like, well, if he's a threat to humanity, if he's really a monster, I'll fight him. But if he's not, I'm gonna protect my family, even if I have to make
Yeah. Sorry, I got scared because we have a raid.
All good.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for the raid. You guys jump scared me because I was listening so intently to Realm. Welcome. We're talking about the last third of solo leveling, and you can make fun of my unpopular opinions. And Realm is the more even-handed take on everything. And we have our friend Puppet Toto Hex as well. Thank you, Cybers. Thank you, Cyber. And everyone. What were you doing? What were you playing? Just chatting? Oh, okay. Were you talking about solo leveling too?
Ooh, hear those spicy takes. Come on,
hi Lasso.
Best eloquent
Reddit
dragon
book
in
club
the world.
raid. Oh wait, were you actually talking about books? Reddit book club raid. Nice. Well, let me know in the chat and I'll respond to you in the chat, and while we talk about Sung Jinwoo's conquests.
Many conquest. What was I tangenting on? Something. Oh yeah. So gave the sort of moral dilemma of like, well, Sung Jinwoo is a human, but he also has the power of like an otherworldly being. So whose side is he taking? And then that kind of gets tossed around a lot. Like,
Mm-hmm.
especially like remember the king of the monarch of beginning asked like, kings, monarchs, humans. Why are you siding with the humans? Same thing with these people. Like, why aren't you siding with the humans? It was a whole.
Yeah.
It was like their way of developing tension. I don't think it really hit me too hard,
Mm-hmm.
but I liked it. They actually tried. Let's see. Last. Trying to think if there was anything else that popped up. I feel like there was. It's kind of escaping my mind.
I don't know.
If it comes back to me, I'll let you know.
Okay. Because I don't know. Gosh, yeah.
Oh, I got it. Cool. The U.S. government, along with that woman that we saw before, who was
Oh
really good at
yeah,
like that
Selner,
ESPer,
Miss Selner.
yeah,
Yeah,
is able to help unlock people's powers.
yeah,
The government, like as a representative for the U.S. government, asked Sung Jinwoo to protect all the remaining hunters, because that was another point that like all of these hunters were starting to die, like
mm-hmm.
top tier ones, one by one, as if people were preparing to, destroy the infrastructure or something for a big event. So another little prelude to
Mm-hmm.
an incoming battle.
Yeah, you're right. It was. Yeah, because after that, Sung Jinwoo goes home. But then, yeah, because you were just talking about this, right? That like the monarchs are going around, they start like targeting the people that are like actually the ruler's vessels. Um, and I think the dude in Brazil gets killed,
Mm-hmm.
and then um, maybe he was still in America, but he notices that the chairman of the Hunter Association of
Yes.
Korea, he's like getting targeted by one of the monarchs, and he knows that he's getting hurt. So Jinwoo he swoops in to try to save the day, but it's too late. I actually liked the old man fighting. I thought that was actually like a fun and interesting fight to see somebody else fight too.
Right.
Because he does hold his own for a little bit, but he's old, and his vessel can't handle it. And Jinwoo's actually like angry that he couldn't make it in time to save him. But the ice monarch just like runs away. Yeah.
Indeed. So to my knowledge, I don't think the chairman knew he had
No.
the monarch fragment in him. And he was just known to be like a strong hunter.
Yeah.
But it seemed that that monarch was somebody who betrayed the monarchs themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So they decided to, finally get to him and kill him. Then, like you said, they do us the whole issue with the presence, and then Jinwoo dripped right back.
Yeah.
But like you said, the Frost Monarch went away. I think it's go gun.
Yeah, it's like
how
go.
do you do G's in Korean?
Go. Chairman go. That's
Chairman,
what I'll call
let's
it.
do Chairman Go. Chairman Go is battered to crazy. And he told Jinwoo not to give him. He was ready to give him the third water of life. That that miracle potion, but decided he told him no. He's like, oh, that made me a little sad because it's not as if you got a crazy amount of interest into the chairman, but he was just like a generally cool guy, cool, nice, humble, not like an abusive person of power, just a cool guy. And he had to go out. He went out with a bang, which is
Yeah, he was understanding, and I think that's I think a lot of people were just like would push up against Jinwoo whenever he would say anything, and I think Chairman Go was someone that would be like, well, okay then, instead of like no, you can't do that, you idiot. Because I feel like everyone said that to him at some point.
Yeah. It's impossible.
He
I made it possible.
was a good peepaw, yeah.
It was good peepaw, and that was another. He said, "Please," before he died, he said, "Please, you know, fight for humanity's sake. I'm glad I met you," and then died right there.
No.
I cry.
Well, that was
at my office, but douche. It was I don't know. I think it was necessary. It was like the 3 strikes. Well, technically 4th, but we need all of those for him to finally make up his mind.
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy though? Like, I don't know, maybe because I kind of blasted through the manhwa again, but it didn't feel like they were spread out very far. It was another pacing issue.
Yeah, it wasn't spread very far apart, and I feel like the difference is when you're reading something, there's chapter breaks, so it doesn't feel crazy when the scene changes. Whereas, even though there's chapter breaks in manhwa, I don't know, it's the fluidity of how you're reading a manhwa that it doesn't feel as big of a break, in my opinion, anyway.
That is true. Most manhwas are uploaded weekly, like once a week, for people. So I was keeping up with it when it was coming out. So I guess the time between the first mention of war and this chapter, I think, was probably like 3.5, 4 months. Because that was it's about like 20 chapters.
Yeah, and actually, honestly, I really can't knock Solo Leveling really that much for it, because I feel like a lot of manhwa that is a novel initially and then adapted into a manhwa has this issue where it's harder to do the chapter breaks and to transition them. So it just is a thing. I've found. Weekly manga written by only one person does explain a lot of the issues with the story. Yes, especially when you're focusing more on art. Yeah, says Toto Hex the puppet. Yes, I would agree. Yeah.
It shall be so.
Yeah.
Yes. What?
Oh gosh, yeah. The big battle is like starting and starts, and before the battle truly starts, though, Andre goes to Korea and is like, "Hey, Jinwoo, let's get steaks, 6,000 steaks," and they go eat steaks. And then there's like, okay, there's this German guy who has no purpose to the plot whatsoever. He's just there. The German rank hunter.
Oh yeah.
He's just there.
That's more like a comedic motif. It's just
it kind of was, and then it was
he's
like
really trying, and then not, and like he actually kind of means something, but isn't.
He's just there. And it could have been. I feel like it should have been. I don't know. If it was executed in a slightly more comedic way, it would have been actually funny, and instead it was just like, you're just here. In my opinion, I don't know. It probably was funny to most people, but I don't know. I did think Andre eating like 6 steaks and Jinwoo eating like 1 was funny, though.
I know. It just shows you how much crazier he is in terms of just like the difference, like how Andre like manifested his powers to become a brute, because he's always been such a big brute in presence, and then all but like Sun Jinwoo is just, you know, a powerhouse packed in, like, not to say a tiny package, but compared to Andre, he's like twig.
It's true.
Of, like a tiny stick, the wood soap. So, but like, you know, it's cool that they're considering each other.
Yeah.
You know, on equal ground for now, you know, what comes about. I forgot if Andre knew about the upcoming premise for like the Monarchs, but I think he did. I don't think he was at the conference himself.
No, yeah, because he was in the hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he did. Well, he probably found out eventually, but we don't see it. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. I think one thing I did forget to mention, because it's not a huge part in the plot, but what I think is cute is Beru is like he gets the most like character development out of all of Jinwoo's like army members, and he like gets really into historical dramas and starts talking like he's from a historical drama. I like that.
Your Majesty.
I did like that because he's just a cool ant dude that actually gets a personality. So it's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I don't know. He does it. Does he do it during this one arc or the next arc where he like is trying to train Beru to be like better? I don't know. But
in the arc after this.
Oh, okay, never mind then.
They do a whole little training saga because more of his shadows are able to be upgraded.
Yeah.
And you figure out more of like what's going on with the true personality of all these unknown people.
Yeah. Yeah. Toto says, I wish more of them had more personality. I just want them to like hang out. Yeah, I felt that too, especially towards the end. I was like, they all really like him. Why can't they all hang out?
I know. Actually, I recommend I told you guys I recommended the little side stories afterwards, but some of the later chapters that I just read that came out give a little bit more like good wholesome context to more of these characters. So 100% in the original go at this, I wish I had more personality, but if you read just a little further, you'll see it.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think they give
I guess Derek is right. Like they all of them, like all of like the higher ranked ones do have. They do have personality, but it's such tiny little segments. You have to really pay attention to see them. And I feel like I noticed most of them, but yeah, it kind of just blows you by. Most of the comedic moments are from his army members doing silly things. So, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I love those little chibi moments.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked when they were all drawn in chibi form to like celebrate like 2 years or whatever. It was cute. Oh gosh, yeah. So this fight is big, and I've just been dancing around it because it's a big fight. So the Monarchs War, the Monarchs are all like talking about how Sung Jinwoo needs to be taken down because he's like the false monarch, and some of the Monarchs don't want to fight because like, nah, dude, I don't want to die, which is fair. And but I think like the Beast Monarch, the Bug Monarch, and the Ice Monarch all go to fight Sung Jinwoo. Mm-hmm. But they start fighting just like the citizens of Korea first. Yeah,
they're really like deplorable people.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they really do just want to kill all of humanity. That's kind of their job, it seems like. And they're pretty, like, yeah, the things they say is pretty nasty. They all start fighting. Eventually, Sung Jinwoo shows up. Andre tries fighting the beast guy, but he's, like, not quite strong enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy? Another instance of the power scaling just kind of shooting up.
Yeah. Yeah. And, like, the German guy's just standing there off to the side. And, yeah, Sung Jinwoo fights the poison lady. She was pretty hot, too, actually. I liked her. I was like, she could be the new ruler of the world.
Yes, poison lady was something.
Yeah. But because poison doesn't affect Sung Jinwoo, he's like, haha, my dwarven abilities shall kill you. And then he takes her down. But he can't take them all down because they're too strong. And he takes a fist to the claw fist to the chest and a ice knife to the heart.
Yes.
Yeah, and then Sung Jinwoo drops to 0 health points. Oh no! Dun dun dun!
Whatever shall he do? Find out next time on...
Yeah, find out next time on Solo Leveling.
Z Kai.
Yeah, Z Kai.
Yes, but wait. What's this? He's not entirely dead. Whatever could you mean?
Yeah.
Well, let's see.
Yeah, he the way the story shows it is that he wakes up in the hospital bed that he woke up in after the double dungeon at the beginning of the manhwa. And he's like, "What do you mean? How come nobody knows what I'm talking about? Why am I back here? Ah." And he just kind of lives his life for a little. He kind of just goes through the motions again, like he does all the events again. Then he realizes that it's an illusion, and he's just like, "Okay, can this stop now?" I guess because he realizes it. And the Death Monarch, is that what he's called? Shadow Monarch?
Yes,
shows up.
Monarch.
Shadow Monarch, okay, yeah.
Yes.
He's like, yes, it was all an illusion, and you can make it keep going, but you don't have to. Ooh.
Ooh, spooky.
Yeah. Ooh. And then there's like a huge story lore drop, which I appreciate that they gave us all this backstory, but I wish that it had been like a little bit more spread out, but it's all right. It was a lot though.
Yes, it was.
I don't even know if I can iterate it. So it has to do with how the Shadow Monarch was part of the rulers, and then he wasn't part of the rulers. He kind of sided with the monarchs for a little while, but also not really. He was kind of on his own team.
Yeah, he had like disdain for just like the concept of like what those two were fighting for.
Yeah.
So he just kind of went on his own thing.
Yeah, he's really the Raven Queen from Faerun lore. Not that anybody knows that, but it's really similar, weirdly similar actually. Yeah, he like fights on his own side because he's like, both of you all are assholes, and he does a lot of damage, I think, to everybody, but in the end, oh god, I'm trying to remember what was said. Yeah, maybe somebody in chat can help me. It was like, yeah, so he has, because it's like, he's like being spooky and changing into everybody that like Jinwoo's ever met. He's like, you have choices. You can end your story here and just go rest, or you can, you know, take all of these powers and be the new me, basically. Because the Shadow Monarch is passing the torch along to Jinwoo if he wants it. Yeah. And then Jinwoo is like, you already know the answer because we're the same person. And
living my life on the edge.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And he decides to go back, and the Shadow Monarch is all like, I can show you how. And he's like, no need, we're the same person, remember? He doesn't say it like that, sorry. He's Jinwoo. And then he goes back, and it's like the Ice Monarch and the Beast Monarch are like, haha, we killed your hero. We're gonna kill you all now. And they have him encased in ice. And Andre is going to try to fight them. I think several others are going to try to fight him, the Ice Monarch, but it's okay because Sung Jinwoo has revived with his unknown. It was like an unknown ability, but now I can't remember what they called it in the end. But it was initially unknown in the system. Oh, that's the thing. That was the important part. We're going back. We're going back to Illusion Land. Sung Jinwoo gets explained why everything appeared like a video game, and it was because the Shadow Monarch wanted Jinwoo's like growth to have him to have goals and to grow in the way he needed him to grow, and he realized the way to do that was to do it in a human-like way, which I guess is a video game-like way. And he had the option to just get rid of the system then, and so when he does revive, he does get rid of it, I guess. He uninstalls it from his brain. So that's why it's video games. Which is kind of funny because I feel it interesting, I suppose, because I think a lot of power leveling or just isekais that have video game elements never explain that part. They're just like, yeah, that's it. But at the same time, I was like, okay. You could have just given him like urges in his brain. I don't know.
Yeah, really.
I don't know.
So, his name, fun fact, is Ashbourne.
Yeah, Ashbourne. That's his name.
Yes.
Sorry, I started yelling because I was like, I remembered.
No. I'm saying he was actually known as like the strongest ruler of the whole congregate before he, decided to not be part of one of their pawns.
Yeah.
But like the absolute ruler.
Yeah.
Big stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting, I'll say the least. I don't know if I loved the way it was presented just because it was all dumped onto Jinwoo at once. Yeah, I do feel like the author absolutely played World of Warcraft at some point. Absolutely. But not that that's a bad thing. There's nothing wrong with being influenced by the things you love, but yeah. I think.
I'm wondering what was that last ability were you talking about?
Yeah, it's like when he like was dying, his health point went to 0, and then it was like activating unknown ability, and then he like, I think it was just, maybe it was the rewind thing, I'm not sure. Like the internal shadow rewind thing. So he had like the illusion, and he was in like the alternate dimension, kinda.
Yeah, there is some time play in the story.
Yeah.
As you know. So I trust it.
Boss was Red Golden, you're right. But he was a dragon, so it's a little different. But yeah, he comes back to life and he like breaks out of the ice and he's like, I'm gonna get you all. And he like entraps the ice monarch and he's like, I'll deal with you later, as the beast monarch ran away because he's like, I'm not dealing with this anymore, bye. Which I can't blame him.
Right, so prideful.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because Jinwoo finds him like immediately, and they have a fight where he's like, okay, the beast monarch tries to plead with him like, oh, you can spare me, I'll be on your side, it'll be fine. And Jinwoo's like, okay, but only if you can take the amount of hits of the same scars that you gave me. And then he has like 5 scars, and he like, what do you call it? He just whoops his ass and 4 scar slashes instead. And he zips back over to the Ice Monarch and is like, hey, your friend only took 4 slashes, how many can you take? And just like whoops him too. Yeah, pow. Yeah, and their arrogance costs them their lives when they underestimate his powers and fail to destroy his corpse in time. That's what the wiki says. But yeah, that's exactly what happens.
Yes. What did you guys think of the actual fighting with the monarchs? They've been hyped up now for like 100 and
yeah, look, Darogar. Gosh, I like how they looked. I like that they were all very visually distinct, and they all had their own realms. I like their own, what do you call it, domains that they seem to rule over. I would have liked to know a lot more about them, but we don't really get much. Gosh, yeah. And, I don't know, they're all just big jerks, so I think that it was nice to see that Jinwoo struggled a little bit, but not that much. In the end, because he got killed pretty quickly, and then he came back to life, and then very quickly whooped their asses. So I don't know,
like stepping stones.
Yeah, like they were stepping stones. Yeah. So like, I'm not mad that they got killed because they were jerks, but yeah, I almost wish it had lasted just a little longer, more action, man. But I get it. He's now Jinwoo 2.0, so.
Yes, he got he deleted the old software, got the nice updated his BIOS. Like he's all good.
Yeah, it's all good. And then this leads into like the final battle, right? Because Jinwoo knows that the Dragon Monarch guy is going to come through the portals, the gates at some point.
Mm-hmm.
It's a whole preparation for that. Oh, hi, Lunar. And gosh, I'm just remembering.
It's all good. The dragon guy is on Taurus. I'm saying that right?
Yeah, Antares. Yeah, he's named after like the stars. It is neat, I guess. The brightest star in Scorpius, and he's really cool looking, although he doesn't show up for a little bit. They're preparing, and Jinwoo like he has a conference with a bunch of people, and a bunch of like legislative heads of the world people, and he's like opens up portals, and he's like, this is what the King of Dragons is gonna do, but I can save you all, it'll be fine. And they all freak out, but in the end it's okay. And so the plan is for Jinwoo to go, and then he starts before he goes to the place, he goes to China in the end, but he starts training with his armies because, oh shoot, no, hold on. All the portals open up, but it's okay because it's just all of Ashbourne's old army.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what first happens. They all come down, everyone freaks out, and then they're like, oh, it's just Jinwoo's crew, it's okay. So people kind of start to calm down, I think, but there's still a huge threat on the horizon, so that's why he has the conference to convince people that will happen. And then he starts training with his new armies. Bear's like, I want to be the best, and he's not quite he's not quite there, but it's okay either way.
For his majesty.
Yes, for my majesty. And the little guys, they like build him a castle, Jinwoo a castle.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, okay, thanks.
I forgot when very random off topic. When did Jinwoo go to talk to Chahai?
Oh, Chahain. I think it's. Oh, it's before the Monarchs were, because he's not there. That's where he was. He was hanging out at the amusement park with her.
Yes, they had their little date.
Yeah, they have their date. It's kind of awkward. They don't like roller coasters because they're too boring. Yes. They're eating like some really nice looking Korean food.
Oh my god, I wanted to eat something when I saw that again.
Yeah.
It's like, no way.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's nice, I suppose. Yeah, I want to eat some Korean food. Yeah, I think it's cute because like they go, like he knows that like he has to go. Jinwoo knows he has to go return to Seoul to go save the world, but he like goes and watches the stars with Hain for a little while.
Mm-hmm. Oh
That's
my god,
nice.
the first time that chapter came out, everyone was so hyped in the comments.
Oh
like,
yeah.
Oh my god, finally. Can you believe it, guys? It's been forever.
I guess the thing is like she's really cute, I agree, but she also has like she's like doesn't do anything from then on. Like I wish she was there. Like it would have been nice, like, you know, if she had powers similar to Jinwoo. Like maybe she had a monarch power and then was also for good and could fight with him. I don't know, because otherwise she's just pretty girl off to the side. I felt like, but
yeah, that's true. Actually, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah,
like a monarch power.
Because she's just there. It's not like she wasn't fighting in the final battle, but she wasn't like with Jinwoo because Jinwoo has to be alone because it's solo leveling. But it's not with the pretty girl leveling. But yeah.
What it isn't is that I read all of this for nothing.
If only. But yeah, no, I agree. It was really nice. It was cute that they didn't find the amusement park thrills very thrilling. And they were trying to be normal. And then they just ate like really nice Korean food and looked at the stars. It's a cute date, I would say.
Yes.
Yeah.
During the like time of the final battle, all the prep stuff. This is when I really tried pulling at your like heartstrings a little bit. Considering like the scope and scale of like the upcoming battle.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that had any effect on you guys or not.
I mean, I guess it did. I think it was like interesting to me that Jinwoo wasn't like immediately like, I gotta go. He was like, nah, they can fight the monarchs for a little while. We're just gonna go and hang out. But I guess he's done that the whole time, so it's really in character for him. Yeah, no, it was cute. Yeah, I think she didn't appear enough, in my opinion, in the manhwa for me to really be like, yeah, Jinwoo and Cha Hain, that sounds great. Although I feel like no character actually does, because he's just the main, he propels the whole plot forward. Yeah, she smells good though, so.
I was literally before just about to say, I'd be like, oh, main character to the side. And by the way, he smells good.
Yeah, he smells.
Yes, she doesn't hate it. That's the thing.
Yeah. Yeah, what a weirdo. Yeah, I mean, that's honestly my main criticism now that I'm done with it. Like, there's so many good characters that I wish just had more time with Jinwoo. Mm-hmm. Because he does obviously have connections and he does care about a lot of the people that he meets and interacts with and makes friends with, but they're just not there for very long. Yeah, but it's okay. But I feel like everybody likes her, so I'm glad that they're the shippers could be happy. Yeah.
I'm sure it.
Mm-hmm.
Liked it, but I think it like threw me off guard for the first time. I was just like I said, like we're intently in battle, like just going bam, 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 big story, big stuff, and all of a sudden, let's go on a date, let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, it was nice. It was a nice break because most of the time when there was a break in scenes, it was just Jinwoo at home. So yeah, it was nice, I would say. Yeah. It's good. And oh yeah, before the final battle, he makes dinner for his mom and sister. I thought that was cute too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it was like hot pot, which also sounds good.
So this is cooking Jinwoo.
Yeah.
Solo cooking.
That sounds good to me. But yeah, so yeah, after they train and then they make hot pot, and he's like, okay, I gotta go now. Oh, and then he talks to Jinho's dad for a little while, like, yeah, I saved you because I decided you were one of the good guys. And I was like, yeah, okay, Jinwoo. Sure. Mm-hmm. But that's just my own gripe. I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure most people don't even care.
I mean, a lot of people did. Like, I think there's a popularity contest once, and they had his dad up there because they're just like, who the hell is this guy? Which gets explored a little later on.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, oh wait, I'll read Toto's count. I think a lot of the things in this manhwa were just half-baked. Like, the individual ideas were good, but needed more time to be fleshed out and spread out. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like it's funny. It's not like an incredibly long manhwa. I feel like it's like an average. I think actually for manhwa, it's like a pretty good amount. Like, I feel like a lot of them are about like 179, 200 chapters, but but yeah, it's like, give me more. You've introduced so many cool characters. Ah, yeah. Yeah. But yeah, then they go. Sung Jinwoo goes to China because he thinks that if he can go, he thinks that Antares is going to like target Jinwoo, and he tells everybody to just move as far away as they can from the gates, like try to evacuate the area. But for some reason, Canada's like, nah, not that. We don't care about that.
Did you like that? Did you like just the weird, like, Canada's usually like the more responsive one, and all of a sudden they're just like, nah, we don't believe any of this like nonsense. Who are you?
Yeah, I was like, does this guy like hate Canada? I'm confused. But whatever. Yeah, there's just some Canadians that are like, I'm not gonna listen to Jinwoo. I'm gonna do my own thing. So Jinwoo is in China with Liu Zhong, I don't know what his name is, the Chinese S-rank hunter, and who is also just there a lot of the times. He's cool and powerful, and they show you that, but we never see him fight. And so they're there, and there's like 100,000 warriors, hunters ready to fight. But it doesn't matter because Antares shows up in Canada, where all of the we're gonna fight anyway Canadians are for some reason, and everybody gets destroyed like Thanos, basically.
That was the first time I saw that, I was just like, what
like,
you gotta do that to me?
Whoa. Yeah. I mean, I think it was kind of neat that the dude, the American representative guy, Jinwoo called him to like try to get the information, and he was like there at the scene, and then he ends up getting Thanos too, and Jinwoo's like, no. I was too late. Yeah, so then after that, Jinwoo does get to Canada one way or another. Probably teleportationing. That's the word. And gosh, there's also the shiny looking dude, the Monarch of Iron Body or whatever it is called. He's there as well, fighting, but he doesn't really seem to pose much of an issue because of Jinwoo's strong team of people. He takes them down, and then there's also like the Transfiguration monarch that's like making all the gates and everything happen.
Yeah, I think it has a very obscure name.
Yogurt. Yep. It's like Yogumount or something like that.
Yeah, Yougumunt. Or they, like you said, the monarch of Transfiguration.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's there. He's like he's actually a key. He's like the one making all the gates and all of that possible. But I actually think that the King of Dragons looks really cool. He's a very like modern, like I see a lot of dragons that look like him, I guess, like if they're like humanoid dragons, but I still really like the look. Yeah. And he's just they fight, obviously. Jinwoo tricks him to go through a gate to take him somewhere else. Right?
Yes, they decide to go. He tries to get him into the Chaos World.
Oh
yeah,
yes, like the Chaos World.
It's connected sort of to like you know how sometimes like when Karmish had to return, like the phrase "return to the void" because it had been too long since he died to be a fully reanimated like shadow soldier.
Oh right.
Like it's that all connected.
Right. Okay.
Since he is like the embodiment of death itself and darkness.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he was also like one of the strongest rulers, just because of how like where his powers originated.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense, actually. Yeah, because they fight for a long time and they kind of talk throughout it. Eventually he turns into a dragon, which is cool. And then it's just fighting lots of dragons. Which is neat. I think it was more surprising than anything. I guess I knew that the the King of Dragons was the spooky one, but I just didn't expect dragons to be the main enemy for whatever reason. So I was like, oh, okay, dragons it is. It's kind of neat. He does.
What do you think of it? Sun Jinwoo's like big form.
Yeah, I think he utilizes like the Shadow Monarch's like all of his powers to get like a suit of armor, kind of. I liked that because it made me mad that he was like, nah, I'm just gonna be shirtless this whole fight for no reason. I was like, what the fuck, Jinwoo? Put on a shirt, put on some armor, you're gonna get killed.
I thought you were gonna yell because all of a sudden there's Gundams in like in solo leveling.
Yeah. God.
A little bit of both.
Yeah, I do think it's really funny. I was like, his shirt gets immediately ripped at the start of the battle. I was like, oh, okay. Okay, why? I'm sure everybody liked it, but I'm just always so weirded out when that happens in fights. I do know why. I'm a lesbian. Says Toto.
None.
Yeah. Like, oh my gosh, it was strange, but gosh, they're fighting for a while is a lot of what happens.
Yeah, this there's actually like a few articles that ranks these arcs, and this final arc is to a lot of people their #1 arc.
Yeah.
It's like this arc, the Monarch, the Monarch arc, and Jeju Island are a lot of people's like top 3s.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I think they're fighting for a while, and it has like a bit more weight to it. The King of Dragons gets like a foothold on, or gets like what I guess he has like a slight leg up at some point, and he's like, "You could just join me, and then you could just have your own world. You could just be the ruler of Earth." And Jinwoo's like, "No, no, I'll never listen to you.
Never."
Thanks for the lurk, Ariel. And gosh, yeah, he beats him, but I read it so fast. I might need to like look through the manhwa again.
I have some of that. Yeah, I kind of facing out a little, but I have a bit of the wiki here. Let us see. Antara suddenly noticed the ruler's army in the skies and finally understood Jinwoo had been aiming from the beginning, and their battle is distorted space allowed the rulers to enter the human world. So she had just been like attempting to force him to get the rulers in, try to attack Jinwoo one more time.
Yeah.
And then the rulers essentially all stab him with their spears.
Yeah, that's it. Cause he slices. And yeah, like the whole time, like not just the Monarch of Dragons, but like the Monarch of Iron Body, they're all like, why is the Shadow Monarch acting like this? These are human tactics. No one should do that. These are rude tactics. How come he's winning? It's like they're mad that he's like thinking outside the box, outside of like Monarch boxes, I think. Even though I don't know if he's really thinking outside of the box. They're just closed-minded individuals. I don't know.
Closed-minded individuals who've been living for like millennia.
Yeah, they're like, he can't do that. He just does it anyway. But yeah, he gets like sliced in half, and he perishes.
Ba-ba.
Yeah.
And that was the most not anticlimactic to me, but I don't know. I was expecting a bit more.
Yes, I was also expecting it to be a bit more of a like that they would be more evenly matched, I guess. And they were kinda, but not really. Yeah.
Like if you think about it, the prep for the whole attack was like completely worth it. Like he was able to completely, monopolize his situation to help him win. So like he did a fair job against like the ignorance of all the monarchs. But at the same time, you're right. I wanted more of like a even brawl.
Yeah.
Like, it would have been cool even with the prep. He would have ended up needing, Sun Jinwoo to be like, at his wits' end, fighting him as much as he could.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think though, like, honestly, if it had actually ended here, I would have been pretty satisfied. I mean, I'm still satisfied in the end, because it's like, okay, you did it. The rulers come down, and they're like, thank you. How can we ever repay you? Because you saved the world. Thanks, bro. And he's like, I want to go back. I want to do it again. And I'm like, bro! Because to me, it's like, it would have meant more to me anyway if he had just lived with the fact that, he did the best he could and some people died, and that's kind of how the world works. But he decided to take the goblet of resurrection to turn back time, to just do it all again so everyone would live. Which I guess it's nice that everyone lives, but I don't know. This is a very, I don't read as much anymore, but I used to read a lot of young adult fantasies, and this is the kind of thing that you would expect. And I do think that this is a young adult manhwa in the end. Like, it's for, like, teenagers to young, like 20-year-olds is, like, kind of, like, the age demographic I feel like it's going for. Which is fine. Like, I read that stuff all the time. But, it's just, the endings of it is, like, we don't want it to be too dark. We don't want it to have too much of, like a we have to live with the consequences of our actions type of thing. So he could just undo it all.
So this cup specifically, the reincarnation, it was made by the absolute being that they all revered in the beginning of this all. What's interesting is that all of the rulers and all of the monarchs will still have their memory from the original timeline. Absolute beings, like spectral bodies or spirit manifestations, could keep their memories. And even if that was the case, even though Jim won against them, even though they knew how he did it, he still decided to do it. So,
because he didn't want, he said too many lives were lost and he wanted to redo it all, which it is a really nice sentiment, but I was also like, bro, okay, fine.
Fine, I guess you get the cup of reincarnation.
I guess you get everything you wanted. You hated it? Yeah. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. It was just like, I was resigned to it, I suppose. Yeah. A cop-out? Yeah. Sorry, I'm reading Toto's comments for the
I got it.
VOD readers.
I feel that, yeah. I wish there was, like, I don't know, I wish there was a more price to pay.
Yeah.
For the cup of reincarnation. Like, there was already an instance where they said if you use it too many times, it ruins the space-time continuum and, stuff like that. But they never did it, so, like, there was no problem.
There was no issue. Yeah, I think if it had ended and then he had gone back to Korea and everybody was just, like, facing the fallout of what had happened, and then he, like, is like, hey, Chahain, you're alive. Let's hold hands and walk into the destroyed building Moonlight. And then, I don't know, that would have been nice, I guess, but that's not really what happens.
Yeah. So, with all of that, he decides to do this whole thing again.
Yeah.
I forgot if this was this in the original, or am I getting this info from, like, the new side story?
He wakes up and he's like a child again, and he just enjoys being a child for a little while, and then he's like, bye, I'm gonna be gone for 2 years, and he goes to the demon dimension.
Yes,
and
the Chaos World.
Yeah, the Chaos World, yes, and he just, so it takes him 27 years in the Chaos World, but he kills all of them. He kills all of the monarchs, and they never get to go to Earth and start the gates or any of that sort of thing, and nobody opens up their magical abilities, and all that stuff. So, yeah, he's like, well, it's only been 2 years in the in the human world, so he returns. The giant gate opens up, and he just like sneaks back into the world as like a 12-year-old, because I think he can like change how old he is.
Yeah, his body is essentially like near immortal, or is not even like a real body.
Yeah.
Per se, it's all part of like, you know, void magic.
Yeah.
So he can just be like whatever he wants to do.
Yeah.
Although he can't, he got like a burn on his hand. You'll find out in like the new side story. From Antares, because like Antares knew he was coming, waited for him. They fought, and for some reason he left like a burn that like he couldn't heal.
Yeah.
But besides that, he could change everything else about his appearance.
I see.
And the governing bodies, the rulers, asked Sun Jinwoo like if he would consider leaving Earth after all of that, and he's just like, hell no.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay here and do what I want.
Yeah. As he's eating like all 32 flavors of Baskin Robbins. Yeah.
Didn't that look good too?
It did look appealing. Oh. Toto says it was all a dream would have been better for me, or make it so that even with all his power, time and death is just the one thing he cannot overcome. Make it a tragic end. He can just do whatever. Yeah, now he can just do whatever he wants to do. So I assume he's doing whatever it is he wants to do in the epilogue. The after story arc. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, he's like, I'm not going, and he leaves Baskin Robbins, and he just he sees Miss Cha walking by, and he's like, oh, and he goes to like follow her, and that's how it ends.
They meet up, they say hi, and then boom.
I will say here though, he's like thinking about what the ruler guy said, and he's like, I can't leave Earth. I have all these people, and there's people I care about and people I love. And immediately after he says people I love, it's not Cha Hae-in, it's Jinho's picture. Just saying. Just saying.
Yeah,
I'm totally joking, but it's funny.
The canon is immaculate.
It's not, but it's just funny to point out. Yeah. Yeah, it's a very everyone lived happily ever after, forever and ever. Yeah. Ending. I mean, maybe in the after story, Jinwoo will finally start like going to therapy or something. I don't know, but probably not. Because he totally needs to work out his emotions.
That's for you guys to read and to find out.
Yeah. Imagine they wake up in bed and he calls her by the wrong name. Uh-oh.
Oh god.
Because he forgets her name. Because that's his fatal flaw, is that he can't remember people's names. Oh boy.
He can't remember people's names, and he can't name people to save his life.
No. Except I guess he could, because he named the Egress Nightman his actual name?
Mm-hmm.
It was weird.
It Where is... Oh my god. Website load.
David?
There are... Between this part, there are... 9 chapters. 9 little side story chapters that are going on right now.
Okay.
Going on a tangent about his life.
Yeah, I saw them, but I was like, I don't have time for that. So I didn't read them.
What? You didn't want more Sun Jinwoo?
I don't know. Like, if the side stories were all about different characters, I'd probably definitely read them, but I don't know if they are or not.
So far, they have been touching upon more characters.
Okay.
Yeah, because, like, it plays on the idea of, like, him living in this new world now. So, I don't want to be too spoilery, but it's not, like, a cut and clean transition to a new timeline.
Oh, I
which
see.
makes it very interesting.
Okay. Maybe if there's, like, enough chapters to warrant a thing, we can do it.
Yeah, I want to
Yeah.
wait. I don't know, because I've known for a long time that there have been light novel side stories that people were like, please adapt it when you can, please.
Mm,
So I don't know how many of these there are.
I
So I'd
see.
like for it to maybe finish, or perhaps somebody say, oh, we finished with these side stories, wait till next time when we do X, and that could be like
Yeah.
one quick
Or if
thing
we
about
can
it.
only meet for like a small amount of time, maybe.
Mhm.
At the same time, I don't want to like say we're definitely gonna do it because I don't know if Toto enjoyed herself for this reading.
Toto,
And I
come
didn't
on.
totally enjoy my. There were times I was really mad at this series. So I don't know. Like I didn't hate it. Like it's definitely all right. But I was like, oh my god. But I also feel like I'm used to reading things that have these kinds of conclusions or this kind of progression. It was really like reading like a young adult fantasy book. Yeah, so I don't know. I think I'm just used to it. I don't know.
Before we do the ratings, do you mind if I go to the bathroom real quick?
Oh yeah, that's fine. Actually, let's go on a very quick break. Everyone get your waters, get your snacks. We'll be back in a couple minutes to give our ratings. BRB. Hello, we're back.
Pew, 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 pew.
Ready to give I guess ready to give you our ratings for the series.
Yes, please, for the while Toto, if you can give your star slug and perhaps a little bit of a long-winded reason, we'd be happy to read it.
Yeah,
but
you took the words out of my mouth.
please, I would just I would want to say it just because I want to get your opinion first as the first time reader of this story.
Yeah. I mean, I was
Please.
a first time reader too, but you guys, yeah, I'll go first while she types.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I'm like,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can type, and while that happens, Trips,
Oh
I would like
gosh,
to know
so
from
for
you.
me, so I think so. Slug rating. Oh god, I'm so sleep deprived. Which one is slug rating? Which one's star rating?
Slug rating is
Slug is
our subjective
subjective
rating,
one, right? Yeah.
and I believe star rating
Star
is you need
objective.
to
Okay.
yeah, objective, our preference, meaning like how much would you recommend this to somebody,
Okay.
In terms of like you need to read this to like really know the story or you enjoy it, stuff
Yeah.
like
Okay. So then for slug rating, I don't know. I think as a series as a whole, it's probably like a I feel mean, but it's probably like a 6 because there were parts I really liked, but a lot of it was just like, can you expand this? Can you elaborate further, sir? I'm actually liking what you're throwing down. Can you elaborate further? And then the plot would just move really fast. At the same time, I think for like my objective, the star rating, I think it might even be a little higher, maybe like a 7, because I think it does have very general appeal. I think if you haven't read Manhwa and you like isekai stuff, you like power leveling stuff, there's no reason why you wouldn't like it. And I think my opinion is absolutely not like the common one either, that a lot of it I felt like was rushed and I didn't love all of it. I think a lot of people liked the fights, and the art is beautiful. I think just reading a few chapters for the art is worth it. Just seeing all the pretty art. Yeah. So I think objectively, I think more people should read it. But if you are more like, I don't know, more narrative, character-driven things like me, then you look at my slug rating, which is slightly lower. Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah.
I agree. Those are some solid numbers. It doesn't aim to be the best, but it certainly stands out in a sea of
Yeah.
I don't know, a sea of other stories similar to it.
It's also super marketed, because I remember when I started looking at manhwa, it was everywhere. That probably helped it, but that's not a bad thing. It's pretty art. I get why people would be like, ooh, what's that? Yeah. Oh boy, we have Toto's slug rating. I'll read it out loud. Toto Hex says, slug rating, 2 out of 10. Art was great, characters were good, but I needed more character depth and interaction. I never connected with the main character. It didn't do any story beats that surprised me as a person who has read a lot of shonen manga and isekai. As a doylist reader, I could see a lot of what the author was, what the author and why the author was putting stuff in that I couldn't enjoy in the story reasons, because a lot of things felt contrived. Yeah, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
I understand. Yeah. Yeah, there were parts, I guess, for my, I don't know, I've read so many stories that are, like, even worse than this, though. So I feel like, for me, 6 is alright, because it's, like, baseline. It's, like, it's better than unreadable. Because it's not unreadable, it's definitely readable.
Very true.
Star rating for Toto Hex is 7 out of 10. If you like power fantasy, power trips type stories, then you could do a lot worse than this series. Yeah. The art is nice, the fights are interesting. If you're looking for something where it will make you feel like you can just feel invincible, then this could be for you. But personally for me, this is just not what I'm looking for. It's the same with harem anime, I just can't. Understandable.
100%.
Yeah, I feel like Toto kind of feels the same way I do. Like, it's definitely not, it's definitely very readable and probably very enjoyable to a lot of people. Manhwa. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a good first read if you are the kind of person that watched, like, Sword Art Online and stuff and loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, Toto definitely feels a lot more strongly about things though than me. I don't remember Sao. I've seen it twice and I don't remember any of it. I feel bad.
I remember being into it when I watched it, but the moment it's like the post anime like clarity, it's just like when I watched it, I'm like, well, there wasn't really anything I liked about it, but when I was into it, it got me to like it when I was in it. But then it's just you hop out and you're just like, huh, why did I watch that?
Yeah, it was like junk food. I think you're right, Toto.
Yeah. I think we got some drip woo regret.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we've given our ratings. What are your ratings, Realm?
Well,
I feel bad.
You never asked. I'm gonna have to be more critical here, especially considering, I mean, it's the first manhwa here. So I feel like I'm gonna use it more as like a basis for rating other manhwa in the future. Regardless of the type of genre it is, I think my personal Slug rating, you know, I've also read a lot of shonen, you know, stuff over the years, so it's not like I'm impervious to its tropes, but it does the things that it has well, not all of it, but it does it well for me. So I'm gonna give it like a 7.5, 8 for myself.
Okay.
Just because it, you know, the first time reading through it, I was just like, wow, like it, you know, perhaps a little bit of nostalgia coming in, but this was my first introduction into manhwa itself, and so I was just like, wow, like, you know, this is like, I love the format, I love the colors, I love the art, it just, you know, and for, I guess, a relatable story, something I was used to in shonen.
Yeah.
It worked out for me. Taking time reading through, I still got hyped in some places. Noticed more things, so I can't rate it any higher than that. No, I'd say probably a little more for the objective. I see. It's tough because I really want to say like either 7.5 or 8 for the objective, only because these are one of those things that if you want to get someone introduced to manhwa, like you recommend them solo leveling.
Yeah.
Whether you like it and you read more stuff like it, which there's plenty of stories, which I, you know, kind of find myself in the pitfall of looking for the next thing like that, or hate it, but you really liked the idea of manhwa and you're going to something else. Whether or not you liked it or not, it's a very influential piece of manhwa.
Yeah.
So I would 100%, that's, like I said, this is what I recommend you guys for first, even though I knew you guys read manhwas before. I was just like, oh, read this first, and then we can branch off from there. Which helped a lot. I was able to understand your guys' preference through that. So
that is true, that's true.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna give this like a weak 8 for objective.
Alright. Yeah, it is a good starting point. I actually do agree. I do really do genuinely think like it's like the baseline for manhwa. So because it can only get better from there. And there are actually manhwa I've read that are much worse. So
Yeah, there's so many pitfalls too, and this is not the only genre this has issue in.
mhm.
Books have less pitfalls, but there are more of them. Manga and manhwa have similar ways in that there is translation issues. There are delays
Yeah.
due to manga's um, serialization, money issues, health to the creator or drawer.
Yeah.
Sometimes these things are just axed because of low interest or that it's not as good as whatever studio is working on next for it. Because
Yeah.
there's so many potential problems that there aren't many shonen stuff like this or many manhwa like this that are complete.
Oh,
And
right, that are complete, yeah.
Get it, you know, get it out and well received for like the entire time. And this accomplished that. Like, it was a big deal every time this came out.
Yeah.
So it will not be the end all be all. I'm looking forward to finding more stuff for us in different genres, but solo leveling will always have a special place.
Oh yeah, no. And I think hold on, first I'll read what Toto says.
Yes,
Toto says, I'm sorry, Realm, I definitely want to give manhwa a chance, but I definitely want to try different genres, which I agree with that. She also says, I think a lot of art didn't hit me quite as hard because it was drawn well. The designs weren't all that unique, and she could see where they took from WoW or RPG games or Hunter x Hunter. Yeah. Yeah. But it is a good starting point. Yeah. Yeah. It is hard to write and draw stuff weekly all by yourself and have it be quality, yeah. Unless you're H2O.
Yeah, seriously, we're contending with some heat here. Like, we just got off of your like amazing duology, and right now we're reading, Oda's masterpiece.
We're gonna read Annie's Lobby soon. Woo. Yeah.
I know, it's tough stuff.
Yeah.
But no one has to be sorry about liking it or not liking it. It is completely up to you. I am happy now. I can automatically gear things towards, we can go for romance because we all obviously need a little more of wholesome clarity now that we read certain stuff.
I like action stuff, like shonen-y stuff, but yeah, I guess I just want to connect with the characters more, is all. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they were throwing so many cool characters at me. I was like, I want a story with that character too. But yeah. We're just sitting here talking about stuff. The level of dedication it takes to make this is really hard, yeah. And big props because the art is really genuinely beautiful. So, yeah. And I feel, this is what I was going to say earlier, and I feel, I don't mean this as a mean way to anybody, genuinely I don't, but I kind of, you know how, like, a lot of you probably watch a lot of anime, right? And you have those friends who aren't really into it, but for some reason, what got them into it, and for me, I don't understand because I don't personally like the series that much, but what got them into watching anime was Attack on Titan, and I don't understand why, because it's just not that interesting to me. The stakes are just annoying to me and things like that. That's kind of how I feel about solo leveling. Like, for some reason, everybody likes it. I don't understand, but I'm glad that you read it because now you're exploring more of the medium. Yeah. So yeah, yeah. It's gateway. Yeah, it's gateway manhwa. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what I was trying to think of. Yeah, the California rolls. Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
Oh my god, you're right.
Yeah,
you're so right.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to knock on anybody that does like Attack on Titan. It's fine. I just don't understand why it's so popular.
You know what? I can understand the same arguments that they could probably tell you to retort to it. They're probably in the same way that they like Attack on Titan, SAO.
Yeah.
They'll be like, "Oh, you just had to be there, man. Like, when it came out, it was just different, man."
Yeah, it was
like
just
I can totally see that coming in.
Yeah, yeah.
You can't skew their opinions.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I don't know. It's funny.
Yes. Well, if anybody there has any manga recommendations they'd like to try out, knowing what we just read, please do feel free to tell us.
I'm so confused now. Is AOT over? I know. I'm confused too, Toto. But yeah, if you do have any manhwa recommendations, please recommend them to us in comment sections, comments on my Twitter, join the Discord, anywhere is good. I'd love to see them, even if I have to if we don't read them for the club and I just read them on my own time. Like, why not? But yeah, our next foray. So we're reading Oda's epic, the One Piece, for like the next foreseeable future. But we are going to go back to the written book novel farm for a few months. Yeah. So I wanted to announce the book that we'll be reading on, hold on, let me check the date, on April 4th. Well, we're going to be reading it and have it finished by April 4th. It's not a very long book, and it's super cute, and it's pretty popular right now. It is none other, I have an image, sorry Toto, you're going to get covered up by the image. Ta-da! Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldry. Ta-da! Legends and Lattes! And as you can see, there's a very cute orc, and she's not a the trademarked D&D race. The other girl there, she's a succubus. So, yeah. It's really cute. I did read this book recently, so I can vouch for it. Yeah, she's definitely not a tiefling. Nope.
No way.
No way. I just read this book. It's really, really cute. I genuinely really liked it. And I think that it's a really good pick for us because it's very different than anything we've read so far for this book club. And it's not very long. It's only it's just over 250 pages, I think. I think if you buy the book now, it comes with an extra short story. So it looks like it's a little longer, but it's not. It's not. It's only 250. And now a cozy fantasy novel. Yeah. The way I'm describing this book, because I don't want to talk about the plot too much, is that it's kind of like a Miyazaki Studio Ghibli film. It's mostly vibes, and it's a good time. Like, stuff is gonna happen, but it's kind of low stakes. I think it even says that. It says it on the. I'm gonna make this bigger, image huge, because I think it says. Oh no, it doesn't. It's supposed to be like low stakes but big hearts and big fantasy. Oh no, high fantasy with low stakes. That's the tagline of the series. I covered up chat. Funny. Sorry. But yeah. Yay! I do know that the audiobook is read by the author because he is actually like a professional narrator of audiobooks. So I have a feeling that it's pretty good. But it's literally available everywhere. I'm sure it's at your library. It's incredibly popular. And you could use the Libby app even to get it. You can get that.
Speaking of, during this stream, my hold for Legends and Lattes became ready.
That's so exciting!
Start that tonight.
Yay!
I'm looking forward to this a lot. I've been looking for just like a cozy fantasy for a little while. Yeah, and I do have to say, if you can't get to a public library, you can apply for a card online and download the Overdrive or Libby application without ever going to the library. So I recommend it because you can get lots of free books and audiobooks that way. But yeah,